The practice of medicine will become the science of medicine. We will be capable of providing precision care based on patient-omics, as well as AI models for each individual, enabling the simulation of each body for therapeutics, dosages, etc. How does that vision strike you, Mark?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. My last 12 months in the military didn't go the way that I planned. 11 months out, I was diagnosed with blood clots on both my lungs. And that was a really scary time. And I'm sort of going through some form of precision-based care really on managing my condition long term. It's something that runs in the family, although we weren't expecting it to hit me. So that was the first sort of hook for me. But then thinking at it a little bit further, there was a 1960s film called Fantastic Journey where they shrunk 4 people down in a submarine and they injected them into a human being to go and do some brain surgery. I was thinking, wow, that would be, that's quite cool, especially if you're looking at going and getting rid of blood clots, because they were talking about doing things with wires in veins and stuff like that. So that sort of really that was the initial hook. But I guess the things that really struck me in 2010 when I was at the hospital in Birmingham, watching people coming back with catastrophic life-changing injuries. And my first week in the hospital, there was a lad in who had one of his arms taken off by an RPG. He came in on the Monday, literally took his arm clean off. Came in on the Monday and was discharged to home or to his next part of his rehabilitation care on the Friday. So he was only in hospital for 5 days. Okay. His RPG had taken his arm clean off. And not so long ago, it was probably about 18 months, 2 years ago now, I saw him on the TV. And he's got this robotic prosthetic arm that is hooked into his nervous system. And the link for all of this within what I saw at the hospital was that the technology and the innovation that was being used because of casualties on the battlefield took medical advancement to a degree that they would never have experienced if we hadn't gone into Iraq and Afghanistan. And I found that absolutely incredible. As a non-medical person, having the privilege to go in and walk the ward on a daily basis and see all of this innovation was great. And you see this now with people with their sea legs, and if you watch things like the Invictus Games with, all of the robotics and everything else. And, for me, again, going back, it's like, oh, I remember you when you were in and, 2 days previously you were in Afghanistan, 2 days later you've only got, you've now got no legs, but you're here doing something else. So I guess that for me was why, I've seen it in action. And out of all of the list of the questions that Lou gave me, I was like, I can see that really going. So that was why it was the hook for me, John.
Yeah, and so if you take the context of the military creating that acceleration because of necessity, and then all the benefits that everyone's getting from that in society, the wider society, it's moving things forwards.
Yeah.
If you combine that with what's on the horizon, so 2 years ago, quantum computing was meant to be between 10 and 20 years away. Last year, it was meant to be 10 years away. And Microsoft are now saying it's, years away. So let's say 5 years. It's a bit like when they sequenced the human genome and they said it was going to take, they did a press release and a guy said, look, at the rate you're going, it's going to take 100 years to do the genome. And the doctor said, no, it's going to take another 6 years because it's doubling every year. The guy hadn't spotted the exponential increase. So if we get quantum fairly soon, the computational power combined with AI models, etc. I actually think from a technology point of view, that vision is very realistic, and I think it'll be quite incredible what that all unleashes. And what I've been saying to people about quantum is, I'm a computer scientist. My eldest son is a physicist, and if you want to understand computing in the future, you need to be a physicist. And that's because quantum computers outsource their processing to an infinite number of computers in a multiverse. I don't actually understand what that means. That's why you need to be a In fact, you need to be a quantum physicist to understand it. So it's, all this exciting stuff's coming, and I think you combine that with the use cases, etc. We probably are going to enter a really interesting future.